Okay. So we move on to the next conjunction. So please enlighten us.
I can't enlighten you. I can only tell you my experience and hope I'm right.
No, it is enlightening. It is enlightening,
Yes.
undoubtedly, because with so much of experience, I'm sure people will get to know so much through you.
Yeah. Everybody has to find their own way. And you have to take, if you find one teacher that gives you some information that disagrees with someone else, if it works, you use it.
Right.
So everything I say here, don't use it unless it works. Don't just say it because this astrologer said it. It must work, otherwise don't use it.
Yes.
So Rahu Mars is a fascinating one.
Okay.
So obviously, if Mars is near Rahu, mechanical, technical, computers, all of those things are going to be powerful because of everything I said in the previous talk. When a planet is near Rahu, that planet becomes strong. So leadership, bossing a person, bossing people around, being a leader, being a commander, computers, mechanical, technical, sports is Mars and Jupiter, military, firemen, police work, all of those are going to get stronger from the Mars. Remember now, you're talking about two malefics. So if they're in a house that doesn't like malefics, that house is going to be destroyed.
Okay.
Rahu Mars in the 7th is going to be very rough on marriage. Rahu Mars in the 5th is going to be rough on the mind and children. But the actual conjunction gives very strong Mars energy. Now remember, Rahu's going to get a little bit hurt by Mars. Okay? So if you have a Rahu Dasha and Rahu's aspected tightly by Mars, this is not going to be very pleasant. It may be successful. It may be successful, but it won't be comfortable. So Rahu and Mars are kind of similar.
Okay.
Mars is just plain, I want this, my desire. This is my desire. I want this. These are my desires. Okay. And it's the ability to put my desires above yours and become successful. Rahu is insatiable cravings and desires for worldly power. Whatever house Rahu and Mars is in, there's going to be enormous energy.
Energy, yeah.
So you better hope, and success, but you better hope that it's in a house that can use malefics. Because if it's in the marriage house, it's going to cause problems. If it's in the 2nd house or 8th house, the family life is going to be very difficult. These are two malefics. Okay. But if it's in the 4th house, it'll be bad for the mother, but it'll be great for real estate. Tremendous.
Okay.
All these cravings and desires and mechanical skills going toward real estate will be wonderful. If it's for the career, Rahu alone in the career house is giving tremendous big success, big career. Now you put Mars in there, there's just tremendous energy that never stops for the career. Now, the most fascinating thing to me about Rahu Mars is the physical, sexual aspect of it. Okay? So I remember I was in India the 2nd time, and I had a chart with me of this woman that I knew I'd been in a relationship with her, and she was very physical and very sexual. Now, she didn't have Mars Rahu. She had Venus and Moon in an angle from each other. Right. Moon conjunct Venus, Moon in the angle, like Venus in the 1st and Moon in the 4th, or Moon in the 7th and Venus in the 10th. If they're angular or conjunct or aspecting, the sexual energy is very strong. He looked at this and he said, if you sleep with this, I never forget this. He said, if you sleep with this woman, she'll come back for more and more and more. And I was stunned by this, but he was right. It was true. Later on, a year or two later, she comes to me and she says, James, can you tell me about this guy that I'm in a relationship with? I don't understand it. This guy wants to have sex for 4 and 5 hours. He goes on and on and on and on. And I said, well, I don't know. He's got Mars Rahu. Maybe it's Mars Rahu. As the years went on, every guy that had Mars Rahu, the closer it is, I'd say, do you have real strong sexual energy? And they would go, yeah. And then it took a long time to get up the nerve to ask women because I didn't know if it would be the same for women. And they said, yes, I have very strong sexual energy.
Right.
So you'll be accurate if you predict that. I'm not talking about Mars 28 degrees and Rahu at 2 degrees. I'm talking, you know,
Close.
Mars at 5 and Rahu at 10 or 11, you know, 5, 10 degrees. Yeah. But the Mars Rahu is tremendously good for engineers, architects, things like that. But it's, in this case, it's more about what house it's in, where that tremendous energy is going to be. Now, Ketu Mars is very strange. I never would have predicted this. But Ketu Mars people fight. Now, this is odd because when a planet gets near Ketu, it cannot function properly. It cannot function normally. The moon next to Ketu, it doesn't function normally. The sun next to Ketu, the sun doesn't function normally. It has problems.
Okay.
And you normally cannot access. It's kind of the opposite of Rahu. If a planet's near Rahu, you can access that energy very easily.
Mm-hmm.
If Mercury's near Rahu, you get to that writing, teaching, communicating very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Next to Ketu, it's the opposite. You can't get that energy. You can't get a hold of it. It slips through you. But if you notice, if you go by your experience, you're going to find Ketu Mars people. Well, the presidents, George Bush, the first, not the second, the first, Mars Ketu, they go to war. There's always a reason for it, but they're definitely going to go to war if they have Mars Ketu. And if you look at people that have Mars Ketu, they fight. They fight. Their Mars comes out. This is to this day, I have no explanation for why. I'm just telling you that whenever I meet, I have Mars Ketu, but I have Mars Ketu Venus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you that Mars next to Ketu is not good for the bloodstream or the muscles, because a planet near Ketu has problems. So Ketu near Mars, becomes difficult. For me, placing my desires above other people, I have Mars and then Ketu and then Venus, all within 3 degrees.
Right.
My Mars, I will fight if I have to, not physically. I can't do that. I never could do that. But I'll be very aggressive in my speech. From the Mars Ketu, I'll fight back.
Right.
But I cannot access the Mars energy to put my desires above those of other people. Is very difficult. If somebody else wants something very badly, I have a hard time, because Mars gets lost a little bit. It gets lost.
Right.
And mechanical, technical skills, like I play guitar, and my fingers, they don't work as good as other people's fingers.
Oh, is it?
That's the third house and Mars. Okay. But the main thing about it, I don't know what Mars does to Ketu. I don't think that Mars strengthens Ketu so that the person becomes more psychic or metaphysical. I don't think that's true. So I don't know exactly how Ketu is affected. I do know that if you come to a Ketu period and Ketu is next to Mars, that's not going to be pleasant. If you come to Ketu and Ketu's next to any malefic, I'm not going to predict good effects. Now, if it's Ketu Mars in the 10th house and they're running a Ketu Dasha, those are 2 malefics in the 10th house. It might be good for how If it's Ketu Mars and it's in the 7th house, it's going to be bad for marriage the whole time. But I don't specifically know how Mars affects Ketu, except to say if you're in Ketu Dasha, then it's going to be uncomfortable. The Ketu dasha is going to feel Marsy because it's near to Mars. But
Generally,
Mars,
I've seen, with Mars and Ketu conjunction or in mutual aspect in Ketu dasha, people undergo surgeries, maybe multiple surgeries in this 7-year span in Mars dasha or in Ketu dasha. This is what I have experienced, multiple surgeries.
okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the person with Mars Ketu, they need to watch out for their bloodstream,
Right.
and their muscles,
True. Absolutely.
And if Saturn or Sun also aspects that Ketu,
Yeah.
and they hit a Ketu, that house is going to be in big trouble unless it's a Upachaya. But in the dasha, if another malefic aspects that
Right.
Ketu, that Ketu dasha is going to be not going to be very good.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. So, so we can close here and then we'll move on to the next conjunctions. Thank you so much.